Hey, today we are going to talk about how to work with harmonics on the guitar. If you haven't been here before, my name is Mark. I play guitar, I teach guitar, been doing it, been playing for over 27 years. And I primarily play the acoustic guitar, and I intend to make as full a sound as possible on the instrument, and I want to help other people that are trying to expand their capacity on the guitar, particularly in the direction of having a full piano-like sound that's really... I hope you can't hear the squeaking of this chair too badly. I think it's far enough away from... Yeah, it's not terrible. I want to help people make beautiful music on the guitar, full sounds, and if you like the sound of what I was playing at the beginning of the episode here, then I encourage you to stick around because we're going to explore some of the techniques I'm using to do that, to make that sound. Specifically today, harmonics on the guitar. So I'll start with what a harmonic is. So the string makes noise because it vibrates, and it vibrates at a frequency that is resonant with our tympanic membranes, with our ears, with the tissues in our ears that allows us to feel something as a result of that vibration. But ultimately, that's the source. It's like there's a source for every sound that includes vibration at a certain frequency. So E has a different frequency than A, has a different frequency than D, has a different frequency than G, B, and E, at a higher vibration, the higher E. There's a certain number of vibrations per second that happen when you strike a string. Now, what we're doing when we make a harmonic sound, when we say harmonic, what we're typically referring to on the guitar is we create sort of like a stopping point between where the string would usually be vibrating that interrupts the vibration. So if you look really closely, I'm not going to try and bring my camera in, but maybe if I'm... you've seen, you can even see a little bit of it there. Maybe I will bring the camera in and just see how it goes. Hey, welcome to the sound hole. But yeah, look at the string vibrating. It's vibrating, and the vibration points, it's like it's vibrating between the nut, the top of the guitar where the string is separated. Like a string keeps going, but it's is vibrating between these 2 points, the nut and the bridge. So what we're doing when we're playing with harmonics, and if you have a good enough, if I was a good enough camera person, I could capture this. We'll see how it goes. But what we're doing with harmonics is we're like, see how it's vibrating from top to bottom. What we're doing here is we're cutting the vibration in half. So the note that you hear is twice as high. It's vibrating twice as fast, so it's an octave higher, I should say. But the vibration is happening, I don't know if you can see it, but let's just try. You can't really see it as much because it is moving faster. That's the nature of higher notes. But it's vibrating in 2 places, between here, and then between here, the 12th fret, which is the halfway point on the guitar, and the nut at the top of the guitar. So there's two separate instances of vibration happening. Let's put the camera back up here, and I apologize if I have a really strong feeling that I'm not going to edit this video because at the moment I'm just telling myself a video a day, and the way I can give you a video a day is by liberating myself from the editing. So I apologize. Stick around. This channel grows, the videos will be higher quality. But that's the essence of it. Let's just quickly. So it's one thing to know how to make the sounds on the guitar, and you don't need to know the physics behind that. That is physics. In order to make use of natural harmonics or artificial harmonics, which we'll explore next on the guitar. I don't love the names natural and artificial harmonics. To me, it's like that's the essential concept, what I just described to you. But what's different about artificial harmonics is that you can divide the fretboard in half, and that's where when you pinch, you're sort of just like, what all you're doing is just putting your finger on the string. You're not fretting it. You're putting your finger on the string and just with like this finger, you're lightly touching it. That's all you need to do. And then with the finger below, you're just strumming. If you have nails, you can get a bit of a sharper sound. You do that on any string at the 12th fret, because the 12th fret is the halfway point. So you're dividing the fretboard in half. I'm repeating myself because it's important. So that's dividing it in half, but you can also divide the fretboard into any number of equal fractions. So if you divide the fretboard into, I believe it's thirds, the 7th fret, if you play same thing, just lightly hover your finger over the string, enough to touch it, but not enough to fret it. At the 7th fret, if we fret the 7th fret, it's a B. And if we harmonic the 7th fret, it's a B an octave higher that matches the B of the open B string right here. So they're the same notes. And I mentioned this in the video yesterday. It's like one of the things that, perhaps the thing that makes the guitar a really exciting instrument is your tonal options. On a piano, if you're gonna play, I have a piano over here, you can't see it, but if you're gonna play, let me switch to a piano setting. If you're gonna play, I don't think this is coming through the mic much, but if you're gonna play, my guitar, I'm just realizing, is tuned a half step up. So if you're going to play a B, which is actually a C on my guitar, but we're going to call it a B because I want you to be able to follow along, but you won't be able to. If your guitar isn't tuned a half step up, you're not going to be able to follow along with this video if you're trying to play along with what I'm doing. So you could also just put a capo on your 1st fret, and that would make sense. We're going to call this a B, even though it's a C. So that is the only place on the piano you can play that note. On a guitar, I can play it there. I can play it there, 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 and I don't think this one's gonna. No, it's a higher B. Right, because we're dividing it into thirds, and we can only do that. That's 3 equal parts. Okay, hopefully that was followable. So the halfway point between the strings is the 12th fret. The third of the way point coming from this end of the guitar is the 7th fret, which gives you whatever note this is on whatever string you're on, an octave higher. And we can keep going if we want to. That's a pretty good place to start. And to be honest, these are like the Those are the brightest harmonics you're going to get, or at least you're going to get them the easiest. You have to be the least precise, I would say, because we can keep dividing the fretboard and we can divide it into quarters, fifths, sixths and sevenths. And what I'm saying is not the same as musical intervals. I'm saying fractions, fractional distance. This is one half the distance from here to here. This is 1/3 the distance from here to here. So when I say halves, thirds, fourths, fifths, I'm talking fractions of the distance of the fretboard, not intervals. We use numbers a lot in music, and we use them for a lot of different things. So I found that incredibly confusing when I was learning music theory. Still am learning music theory. But I know it can be a difficulty point. And frankly, this is like where I'd like to bring you on the guitar. It's like this is not conventional guitar territory, not conventional guitar lessons. So if you're here trying to like learn how to play the guitar, there's probably better videos out there that you could build a foundation on. I'd like to build such videos eventually. I don't know if I will. I'm really trying to connect with and help support kind of intermediate guitarists, like people that picked up their guitar. And maybe you had a period of life where you kind of were devoted to learning guitar. A lot of us had that period in high school, then went off to university, stuck the guitar in a closet or like played it a little bit, but not, like didn't really get back into a good practice mode. And I just run into a lot of guys, mostly, some women, that are into, like they want to develop their guitar playing ability. And like the question I hear from most of them is like, how, I don't have a lot of time, but I'm willing to devote time to practicing. Where do I devote my efforts? And so I'm trying to help that kind of guitarist. If that's you, please stick around. And I should say, if you have questions about anything, if I use words or explain things in a way that doesn't fully land for you, please mention it in the comments. I would love to respond directly to what your questions around the guitar, the fretboard, music theory are. I am building this YouTube channel and really hungry for legitimate, sincere questions from people who are legitimate and sincere in their efforts to learn the guitar. So please drop that in the comments, whether it's related to harmonics or just like something else you're working on. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so we can divide, that's kind of like let's call that what we've just shared is the theory of the guitar. So the other places, I'll just name them quickly and you can explore them on your own if you'd like to, where you can make harmonics in addition to the 12th fret, 7th fret, or the 5th fret. That's just 2 octaves up from the string you're playing. So if the string is E, you fret at the 12th fret, you get an E an octave higher. You fret at the 5th fret, you get an E 2 octaves higher than the open string E. That maybe isn't the first place to. I think there's probably more intuitive fun you can have with harmonics here and here as you're learning. And what I'm going to spend the rest of the video doing is really just showing you some techniques that I have found helpful for, at the very least, getting started on harmonics, and we'll see where we get to. The other place you can make a harmonic is the 4th fret. So you're dividing the fretboard into fifths at that one. Fourths at 5th fret, thirds at 7th fret, halves at the 12th fret. There are also, this is probably too much information, but at the same distance that this one is like, so this is half of half. That's a quarter. So if we go a quarter distance from here, that's also a quarter. So you can make it over the sound hole. It's harder to hit because you don't have a fret beneath it, but you can put a little piece of tape on the edge of the sound hole of your guitar if you wanted to hit that one. Not a good place to start though. More fun to have right here. There's a little, I'll give you a little melody that you can work out with this that you're familiar with already. So the song Amazing Grace has a go. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, G, D, G, B, A, G, B, A, Ni, A, B, D, D. So let's just like unpack some of what I was doing there. We're using only open strings, or only harmonics on the 12th and 7th frets. And because of the way the guitar standardly is tuned, it has all the notes to the Amazing Grace melody. And we can play that. That's not always the case. This is one of the things about playing with harmonics, is that you don't always... you can't always play all melodies in harmonics. So you might, which I think is one of the joys of it. It's like the guitar is making choices, or like the music is about making choices about how you play certain things, the treatments you give certain notes and sections in a song. And because of the way harmonics appear naturally in a standardly tuned guitar on the fretboard, certain notes are not possible as natural harmonics. So I'm trying to think of a melody. I'll just kind of play a little bit of what I shared in yesterday's video, but like if you're playing the scales, this is one of the reasons I am working through building a fretboard map for the guitar with harmonics kind of in mind to support guitar players that are trying to, and support myself as I try to essentially like functionally build a set of patterns in me for optimizing the use of harmonics and open strings on the guitar to build that piano-y sound. So when I'm doing that, I'm escalating the scale, ascending the scale. I'll get this eventually. There's certain notes I'm playing in the key of A, so it's like A, B, C sharp, B, C sharp, D, F sharp, G sharp, A. Those are the notes. A, I know I can play as an open string, as a harmonic there, as a harmonic there, as a harmonic way up there. Next note in scale is B. I've got a harmonic right there, open string there. I can also make it on a fret if I have to, as I can with all the notes. C sharp, the only place I can make a C sharp harmonic is right here, but it's going to be 2 octaves higher So I could do like, but there's certain notes, actually all the notes in the key of A. Yeah, there's a harmonic for them all. Somewhere, that wasn't a good example, but B flat. You can't really make B flat as a natural harmonic, so you're gonna have to fret it. And that just creates a tone that is like that when choices are removed, like when I can't make a B flat as a harmonic, that almost makes my job simpler as a musician or as a guitarist in this style, because that's the only way to play it is by fretting it. There are ways you can fret it and make a harmonic, but we're not going to cover that in this video. So yeah, back to that Amazing Grace one. I guess what I'm doing, I'll just talk you through it. Because the first three notes are amazing. You don't have to leave the 12th fret. It's a fourth, and then a third, which is the interval between the two strings. Amazing grace. So you're just lightly touching. How sweet it is. And you can hear that it's like when we move on from amazing, in addition to playing the song, like the melody, you're also playing a G chord. Amazing, no, there we go. Zing, it's B-A-G. And those notes are also hard to hit without harmonics and have ring out together, because so zing. If we were to play that on the fretboard, it would be sing, hot cross buns. That sounds very different than you hear it ring out. And we don't always want it to ring out. That's the thing too, is like, it's cool. Doing this is like, it's a cool sound, and it's an important sound to be able to make. And as musicians, we also always want to be mindful of like, am I reliant on the sounds I can make? And is there something in me that wants to like, is there a sound I want to make that I haven't, that my ability is yet to be developed for? Or is there a sound that I'm making that maybe should be stopped sooner? So one of the things that I like to do, in addition to like allowing things to ring out, like amazing, maybe not in this song, but like you can have that ring out sound, which is almost like, I often think of like a Rhodes piano, kind of like electric keyboard, sort of like, and then I would like to, maybe I like to let it ring out, but often I want to mute it, like having a really high, like it's almost like an attack, or if you think of like a drummers do this move where they're like, and it's like a really loud cymbal hit. There's probably a better drummer word for that, but it's like a, and it's like, that's what we're doing. It's like we're grabbing the cymbal with our hand when we're like bringing a note out and then muting it right away. So if we do like a fast hit of like the G chord or the E minor chord that we can make on the 12th fret, there's all the things you can do and play around with it. So we've been talking today about, it's a good thing, I would say, if you want to have harmonic ability on the guitar, to be able to like not fret, but like to form melodies, or to make singular notes. So you can play around with that. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. And it's also kind of cool to play with chords, 3 at a time. And if you know chord theory, then it's just a matter of like telling yourself, okay, what are these notes? And what chord does that form? So I know that these 3 notes are the G chord. Not a G bass, but these 3 notes are the E minor chord. I can add the bass. Then I can do them up here as well. And then the same is true for what ends up being you can make a major chord or a minor chord. This would be D major. This would be B minor. So that's another thing you can do. I think that's probably a good place to leave it for today. I would be curious what your questions related to harmonics are on the guitar. It's definitely a stylistic choice. I think it's integrating harmonics into the way you play, I feel like, is increasingly common for acoustic guitarists. I have a pot on the oven that I just need to go turn off. All right, thank you for your patience. Yeah, so what I would do at this point, I would just play around with harmonics. We're going to be exploring them here on this channel more and more so. And if you saw yesterday's video, then know that I am working on a set of key companion guides, or just key companions. It'll be a digital resource. I'm still fleshing out how, what it will be like. There will be like a PDF that sort of like illustrates the fretboard with kind of like the standard fretboard map, and also like a harmonic fretboard, harmonic map of, it's really not a map of the fretboard, it's a map of the strings, but we use the fretboard as our guide. And it'll have like practice drills for working on harmonics. And it's stuff that like I wish I had as I was learning to play percussive acoustic guitar and fingerstyle guitar. It's not, it's something that like, even as a guitarist who has sort of figured out a lot of these techniques, I'm intending to use it as a way of just like really flushing out my musical vocabulary in this, we call it like a dialect of the guitar, because it's like I can do, or to pick up an electric guitar, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, I could do a version of it on the electric guitar that would achieve melodically, I think, what it is that's in my head. But there's a tonality to what's in my head, the music that I want to create, or the covers that I want to do of songs that I love. For the accompaniment and instrumentation, I can hear that I can't think of any other way to do it other than through the harmonics of the guitar. So I'm building these guides in part for myself so that I can kind of develop, just like master that technique. now that I've learned enough of it that I can see like, oh, this is how I could really cement it in. It's sort of like, you know, if you're like I'm also a writer, and I've probably spent more time connecting with writers than musicians until recently. And in writing, I think there's a point where like you realize writing is a skill that you have, and then you realize like how, like where you want to go and the amount of work that it will take to get there, but you know enough about it that you can sort of like kind of be your own guide. So this is what that is. This is sort of me stepping out of like the guitar player mode for myself primarily, and stepping into like guitar coach teacher mode for myself, and building up some resources and practices that I can kind of default to. Is like, if I don't know what to play on the guitar, I'll wake up and work through this, because I know I almost think of it like, it's like when you're in a new neighborhood, or when you're in a new area, or if you're exploring a new forest, your mind is in this, like you can drop into this mindset under the right conditions, where you just absorb everything. You're almost like in a childlike state of absorption. And I think when we have like really simple practices that we can do over and over again for exploring that territory, like it might be taking a walk every evening, or just like going about your day and your routine, like slowly in that new neighborhood, in that new environment, you start to realize where everything you need is, where the different shops you need to visit are, where, if you have friends in the neighborhood, where they live, where the scary dogs are, where maybe the houses that are like, I don't know, I've heard some strange noises coming out of that window, let's walk on that side of the street, kind of thing. It's like you just develop this familiarity with just like the reality of where everything is, I guess, is a way of putting it. And when that intuition clicks in, that's where new music starts to pour out of. And like, as you're exploring, you begin to see things and experience things in familiar places on the guitar that you're seeing them in unfamiliar ways. I get so excited about this stuff, because it's like, I've been playing for enough years to have reached what felt like a bunch of plateaus. And really, it was just like, I didn't know where else to go. Like, I didn't have a good enough intuition for like where else to look. Maybe that was the point. I should have gone to a teacher, or bought a book. But we all have our journeys, so I'm not gonna be too hard on myself for that. But I say that mainly to contrast, like this is what I'm trying to offer you, and I'm building for myself now, because I like have a sense of where I'm going. And as always, like following a path like this reveals more, a path of like genuine and sincere exploration. It always reveals more of what you want, more sounds you like on the guitar. Like anytime you develop a solution to something, you encounter new problems. So encountering the new problems that are associated with like really understanding the fretboard in this way means unlocking a whole new realm of possible sounds on the guitar. I think a lot of like the guitarists that built the style, that like the tradition of guitar, that, or the lineage of guitar playing, whatever the right language to use for it is. But guys like Michael Hedges, Preston Reed, Don Ross, Antoine Dufour, Andy McKee, it's like we're exploring now, because I was able to listen to those guitarists and like learn from them, follow their lessons and emulate their style. It's like I get to explore other things and sounds they didn't make, and you're going to get to explore sounds that I can't explore because I'm exploring these ones. So yeah, the fretboard, the guitar is a pretty cool, mysterious instrument with endless possibilities in store. We are at 35 minutes and 55 seconds. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it was helpful. If there are areas where you are confused about the guitar, you have questions about the guitar, things you would like to share about the guitar that are not questions, but you want to drop them in the comments, please do. I would love to know where your challenges, where your barriers are at as it comes to learning, developing, mastering skills on the guitar. I would like to help you with that. If you need support, there's a link in this video to a form where you can express interest in taking guitar lessons, where we'll just set up a call, talk, hear what your goals are. Then you can decide if you wanted to take some guitar lessons with me. Going to keep posting videos like this on this channel, and we're going to keep exploring topics extended from this one, and related to the questions that come up in the comments. So yeah, if you're trying to learn guitar, trying to relearn guitar, trying to improve at guitar, haven't touched it in a while, or like just recently getting back into a mindset of wanting to practice, wanting to learn, wanting to grow on the guitar, this is the spot for you. I hope you stick around, and over and out. See you next time.